Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and another video. So today we are going to be doing the October TBR. So these are going to be all of the books that I want to read in October of this year. Once again, I've just pulled 6 books off of my TBR card and I do have my one book club read because we've actually sorted it prior to me filming this video for a change. So let's just get straight into all of the books that I want to read in October. Because it's Halloween this month, I've gone for a bit more of fantasy reads to try and clear some of them off because I'm kind of feeling some fantasy reads with Halloween obviously this month. So one of the first books I've picked up is The Spell Shop by Sarah Beth Durst. As someone who only recently acquired this book, I genuinely don't remember anything about it, but like honestly guys, this was a cover buy for me. I just think the cover is super cute. I think the covers of all of her books look really cute. We have, is it Keela? She's always had trouble dealing with people. Thankfully, as librarian at the Great Library of Elysium, she hasn't had to. She and her assistant Kaz, a sentient spider plant, have spent the last 11 years sequestered among the Empire's precious spell books. But when the library goes up in flames, Keela and Kaz have to flee to a remote island she never thought she'd see again, her childhood home. And to Keela's dismay, she finds the Empire has been draining power from the island. With the help of an old spell book and a nosy, if very handsome neighbour, Keela is determined to make things right. But as she starts to make a place for herself, she realises she must break down the walls she has kept so high. So it just really sounds like a low stakes fantasy read. I just thought this would be a fun one to pick up in October. And it's going to be my first book that I've read by Sarah Beth Durst as well. And then the second book that I picked up was Ride With Me by Simone Soltani. I just want to say that this is technically like the sequel or second book, I believe, in like an interconnected standalone series. The first one was like Cross the Line. It's like the motocross driving book series. I contemplated picking that one up, but I never did. And then I saw this one at the shops, and I'm going to be frank. This one was purchased purely because of all of the signs that you can see in the background. I've said this before, but I'm currently doing the Lover reading challenge, and one of the prompts for one of the songs is, it's Cornelia Street now that I'm talking about it, is read a book with a sign on the cover. And I don't have any books with signs on the cover, and this was the closest I could get would be these signs. So that is the main reason that I'm picking this one up this month, is that I'm starting to feel a little bit of pressure that I haven't completed my challenges. It's October, I need to chill out, I know. But I'm wanting to read a bit more on those challenges. So that's the main reason why I've picked this one up this month. But we focus on Stella Baldwin. She was left at the altar and she stupidly does a drunken rant, which she posts to her social media followers in the aftermath of the entire, I guess, being left at the altar. And then she has to show up at her cousin's bachelorette party 2 weeks after, I guess, she got left at the altar. That's a bit awkward. And then we have our male lead, who is Thomas. He's got family expectations weighing him down, and his career as a Formula One driver threatened by fresh talent. What better way to decompress than with a stag party in Vegas? Stella isn't the woman Thomas expects to meet that night, and Thomas isn't the man Stella expects to wake up next to the following morning with a ring on her finger. Ooh, that's awkward, but I somehow missed the massive diamond ring on her finger, which would also suit another prompt that I have, but I picked another book for that. I've never read a book about Formula One drivers, and obviously sports romances are more coming in. I've done a lot of the hockey ones and I'm not like a really big fan of them, so I thought let's try Formula One and see what I think. If I enjoy it, I want to go back and find Cross the Line and give that one a read as well. I really hope it doesn't spoil things for me. How awkward would it be if the cousin's bachelorette is the main character from the first book? It's right, it's a romance novel. You know that the couple are going to get together at the end. That's what I go into, so. And then the third book I've picked out is my anticipated favorite read for October, and it is Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonam-Young. I literally have just finished reading Out on a Limb, which is the first book in this series, once again interconnected standalone. I really wanted to make sure that I read Out on a Limb before I picked up Out of the Woods. Unfortunately, Out of a Limb isn't really available to purchase in bookstores here in Australia, so I got it on my Kobo, read it, devoured it in like 3 days, if that. I think it was 2.5 days, and I was so obsessed with the main characters in that book. And then the best friend in that series is Sarah, and then her husband Caleb, which is who this book focuses on. And like, obviously I already had this book and I was like low-key worried and confused in that one, because in this one, Sarah and Caleb have basically been together since they were in like year 9 of high school. They've been married since they were 19. They've been married something like 15 odd years at this point. And so Sarah's kind of feeling incredibly lost in their relationship. She isn't really sure who she is outside of Caleb. Her mum passed away several years ago, and she wants to just make some sort of tribute to her mum and like some charity event, but it goes wrong and Caleb jumps in to save the day, and that just really bothers Sarah because she wanted to prove that she could do this on her own. So basically her and Caleb go on this like week-long hiking trip to, I guess, sort out her sense of self and their relationship, and to see whether, you know, she can find herself in their relationship and, you know, who she is outside of him, essentially. And I really, really enjoyed Sarah and Caleb in the first book. I thought they were really great friends. It was really interesting to see them already married, and now we're getting a romance book about them. So it'll be interesting to kind of see, I guess, like the breakdown. I don't know if there's going to be much of a breakdown in their relationship, but it's interesting to see what's happened. Also with this one, the reason why I picked it is that I have the Paper Rings song. The prompt is read a book with rings on the cover. Because they're married, they have wedding rings. So I'm using it for that, but I picked up Out on a Limb, loved it, was low-key mad it's taken me so long to read one of Hannah's novels, but excited to pick this one up, and if it's anything like Out on a Limb, it's going to be 5 stars. And then the fourth book that I am picking up is one I'm a little nervous for. And it is, why did I pick up the sequel? Oh my God, guys, I picked up the wrong book. This is supposed to be Legendborn by Tracy Dion. This is a sequel, Bloodmarked, which is also on my 25 books to read in 2025 challenge, but I stupidly picked up the sequel. I meant to pick up Legendborn, so just pretend that this is Legendborn because I can't be bothered to go grab it. I started to try to read Legendborn in January this year. Wasn't in a great place mentally and health-wise, and I just really couldn't cope with the fact that the main character's mother had just passed away. It was a little bit too real with me with the health issues I was having at the time. So I put a pause on the book, and I'm at the point where I actually only have 3 books left on my 25 books to read in 2025. One of them I'm going to talk about in a second, and the last 2 is literally the Legendborn cycle. We're starting to run out of time, and I don't like to have any books in December left on any of my challenges where possible, because December historically is a month I don't read a lot. So I try to make sure my challenges are wrapped up by November. So I want to make sure that I pick up Legendborn in October so I can read Bloodmarked in November. But yeah, we basically just focus on our main character, Bree. Her mother passes away, and she gets sent to this school. It's a little bit of like the Mortal Instruments cross something else that I'm currently spacing on. But yeah, she comes to this school and there's like demons, and she's got magical abilities. Maybe it's a little bit like Harry Potter, but there's no magical wands. I think they just have the power with their hands. I don't know, magic. But yeah, there's some demons, there's some stuff going on. It's just a fantasy world. The writing is so small that it's off-putting for me. So yeah, I just want to pick this book up and give it a proper chance, because last time I tried to read it, I wasn't in the correct mental headspace to be reading that book. But fingers crossed that I like it, because the 3rd book, Oathbound, has been released this year. So I would love to pick it up and I guess continue on the series. But yeah, just pretend this was Legendborn. And then book number 5 is The Baby Dragon Bakery by A.T. Qureshi. This was like purely a cover buy as well. It's adorable. I want it for the Halloween vibes, mythical creatures. That's why we're picking it up. So we have Lavina. She has a loving family, complete with an adorable pet baby dragon. Like, look, it's so cute. Place at university, training to become a magical animal vet, and a part-time job at the enchanting Baby Dragon Cafe. The only thing she doesn't have is her one true love, Theo. Theo is a local baker and her best friend. On paper, they're perfect. He's funny, she's witty. He's sweet, and she's a little salty. That's why they've been friends for as long as they can remember. They've never been without one another, and it's clear to everyone that they're meant to be. Everyone except Theo. He's being a typical male and blind to what's in front of him, because when Lavina finally makes her move, he pulls away. She's obviously devastated, and has their friendship gone up in smoke, or will Theo finally realize that he wants them to be more than friends? I just think this is really cute. Oh, this actually looks like it's potentially a sequel, because I'm seeing that there's the Baby Dragon Cafe as well. So if I enjoy this, I will have to track that down. I hope there's no spoilers for it, but if so, oh well, we will live. It seems like it's just going to be a really fun, it's like just over 300 pages. So I think it's going to be a really cute, sweet, I'm hoping low stakes kind of contemporary paranormal romance, I guess. Is it paranormal enough? We'll see. They've got magical abilities. We'll see. But I think it's going to be cute and fun. So that's why I picked it up. And then the 6th and final book off my physical TBR that I want to read It's The Merciless Ones by Namina Forna. Now, this is the sequel to The Gilded Ones, which I did pick up in September. This is also the third and final book on my 25 books that I want to read in 2025 that I have left on that challenge. This is, like I said, just the sequel to The Gilded Ones. Now, The Gilded One was a really interesting read. It is like a fantasy novel where when girls at the age of 16, they go through like what they call like a purity, what is it? It's not like a purity festival, but like I'm mind blanking so hard. If I remember, I'll put it on. But yeah, they go through this like purity festival thing where all of the girls are brought into a room one at a time, and their like hands are cut to see what color they bleed. If they bleed red, they're human, they're pure. They can basically go out in society and get married. If their blood runs gold, it means that they're a demon and they have to be killed. Unfortunately for us, our main character, Decca, she bleeds gold in the first book, and she ends up actually being taken away to the Emperor's training camps because they're trying to train up more of these girls like Decca, and they're the only ones that can fight against what they call the Death Shrieks, and they have to fight and kill them because the Death Shrieks are basically like villains in this story. That's all I'm gonna say, because if I say any more, it's gonna spoil the first book for you. But this one basically just continues on the story after Decca has done something that she was born to do. So we're basically gonna be, I guess, just seeing the fallout of that and how it changes this world and this society. But yeah, I'm just excited to kind of see where the rest of the story goes. On the fence as to whether I would pick up the third and final book. But that is the sixth and final book that I have picked to read off of my physical TBR. Now, as I've said before, I am part of a book club at work, and we have actually voted on our October read. And we actually voted this month that we're going to read Don't Let Him In by Lisa Jewell. It is her most recent book that she has released. As you guys would know if you've been watching any of my videos this year, I've been slowly reading Lisa Jewell's back catalogue. She is an author that I basically discovered this year. I know she's been around for a while, but I've not been a massive reader of thriller novels, so I'm slowly like starting to read more thrillers. And I did get to a point where I was reading so many of her books that I found them quite predictable, and I have heard things that people were able to guess in this one what was going on. So I'm a little worried that I'm going to be able to guess it, but I'm excited to read another thriller. I think it's perfect as well for the Halloween vibes. But this one just basically focuses on a guy and I think 2 to 3 women, and I think he's like a murderer. I don't remember the premise, but the guys voted for it and I'm just here along for the vibes. But they are essentially the 7 books that I want to read in October. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you guys next week for the September reading wrap up. Bye.